I felt inspired today to tell you the story of my miscarriage that I had 3 weeks ago. I am doing this for 3 reasons. The first one is that October is pregnancy... I'm sorry, I don't know why my cat is doing this. Anyway, October is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month, and specifically October 15th is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Day. The second reason I'm doing this is because I feel very lonely with this experience. Not a lot of people in my real life know that I'm going through this, so I'm happy to have the opportunity to talk about it. And the third reason I'm doing this is because it's a very taboo topic that nobody ever talks about, and I wanted to tell my story in case other people are going through this and do searches for this and need to find somebody who can relate to them. I am going through that experience right now where I'm just very lonely and I feel like nobody understands me, and that's half of the frustration of this. Okay, but so anyway, starting in May, my husband and I had been trying to get pregnant. Long story short, I didn't know if it would be possible for me to get pregnant because my cycles are irregular and I've always had issues and blah blah blah. So we started trying in May, and then I got my period at the end of June, which I was bummed about, but I kind of expected. I thought it would take years for me to get pregnant. So we started over at the end of June, and then I didn't get my period in July, I didn't get my period in August, and I was getting really frustrated. I was like, how on earth can I try to get pregnant if I'm not getting my period and I have no idea where I am in my cycle? But all that time, I had been taking pregnancy tests like once a week, and they were always negative. But then on August 26th, I randomly decided to take a test. I was feeling pretty gross the past couple of days. I just felt like I had my period, but I didn't. Like, I felt very bloated and nasty and crampy, and I was really tired and blah. But so on August 26th, I took a test, and it was actually positive. It was very faintly positive, and I couldn't believe it. It only took me 2 cycles to get pregnant, and it was perfect. I was thrilled. I was so excited, but apparently it wasn't meant to be. The week after I found out I was pregnant, I started getting some horrible cramping. I didn't have any bleeding, but I was worried about it, so my husband took me to the ER, and they did an ultrasound and everything, and they couldn't find anything wrong. They tested my HCG and my blood, and it was at 21,000, which is good, and they told me that we just have to keep an eye on me. They tested my blood every 2 days, and I had an ultrasound the next week to see what was going on. And so then the next week I went for the ultrasound, and there was a sac in my uterus, and they let us see it, and I was excited. They said I'm about 5 weeks along, and they should be expecting to find a heartbeat next week, and everything was looking good. I wasn't getting the cramping anymore. So I was starting to be relieved, but then my doctor called me and said that we can't be excited yet. She's not going to be relieved or happy until we find a heartbeat on the next ultrasound. So I was like, alright. I was bummed out because I was excited. I really, for the first time, thought that the pregnancy was going to last and be good, and I was finally going to have my baby. But so then the next week we went for the ultrasound, hoping to hear a heartbeat, but it wasn't meant to be. The woman doing the ultrasounds had this like perplexed look on her face the whole time, and I was like, this can't be good. And then she told me she'd be right back because she had to speak with the radiologist. So my husband and I were sitting in the room, and I told him I have a terrible, terrible feeling about this. And he was telling me, oh, everything's going to be fine. And I was like, no, everything's not going to be fine. I know it in my gut. So then the woman came back into the room, and on the phone she had my doctor, and she told me to talk to my doctor. So I took the phone, and the doctor told me that my pregnancy stopped progressing, that there was no, viable pregnancy inside the sac, and she thinks that I was having a miscarriage and that I needed to have a D&C. This was a lot for me to take in at that moment, and so she told me she'd call me back in a couple of hours while I thought it over. It was really hard, Part of me wanted to say that I still had hope, maybe if I didn't have the D&C, something magical would happen and it would grow and it would be fine and blah blah blah. But then the doctor called me a couple of hours later and made me realize that the correct decision was to have the D&C, because it could have made me sick, or it could have been horrible actually having the miscarriage. I am a manager at a pharmacy, and my job would not allow me to leave. If I started being sick, I'm the manager. I have to be there. So we decided on the D&C. They scheduled me for the next day, and it was a horrible experience. I was a mess starting the day of the ultrasound through like 3 or 4 days. Like I couldn't function. It was bad. So the next day I had the D&C, and it was not pleasant. They put me to sleep for it, which was good. But when I woke up from the procedure, I had this overwhelming emptiness. Like, I could tell that it was gone. I could tell that it wasn't there anymore. I just felt so sad and so horrible. And I've just been trying to cope with it ever since then. That was 3 weeks ago. I'm starting to feel physically normal again. I don't have any more pain or anything, and everything just kind of feels normal except for my moods. My doctor said that the hormones would be bad, and they are. Everything upsets me. I feel completely irrational because I get overwhelmed by the stupidest little things, but apparently that's life. Besides the hormones, I've just been feeling really sad and alone and empty and frustrated. Like, I want to start trying again. They say that you should wait a few months emotionally so that you can heal, but I just really feel like a sitting duck right now. Like, I have no goals, I have no hopes for the future, it feels horrible. I just want to be trying again so that at least I'm doing something and I have my goal to have my baby, and I don't know, the doctor told me I have to wait at least 2 cycles to start trying, and I guess we'll see what happens when that time comes. I'm only 3 weeks in. I get my period every 40 to 60 days regularly, and I'm assuming the D&C probably mess it up further, so we're looking at a few months, but it's been really tough. My husband has been very helpful. He is obviously sad and bummed out too, but he's been taking care of me and doing everything for me that he can, which has been great. And the few people that I have told about it have been supportive. But at the same time, they've been very distant. Like, nobody knows what to say to me. I understand it's a difficult issue, and what do you say to try to help somebody, but they've kind of just left me alone. Like, I'm trying to learn that life goes on and that everything will be fine, but everybody has distanced themselves from me, and it's just been this horrible thing. The only thing that has really helped me is doing searches on the internet. I've found a lot of message boards of other women going through this, and just seeing that there are women out there going through exactly the same thing, that's what has helped me the most. But it's a struggle every day. Sometimes I'm okay, sometimes I'm not. Today, I'm kind of in between. I'm not like a mess today, but I'm just feeling very sad about it again. Yesterday was a good day. Yesterday was the first day that I really felt like myself for the first time, which was great, but I just have to take it day by day and see how it goes and hope that I start coping better and dealing with it better. The other side of it is that I was only 7 weeks pregnant, which is very, very early on. And a lot of people say, oh, well, at least you weren't further along. It would be harder if you were 3 or 4 months and blah, blah, blah. And I understand that. I don't know how those women cope that actually have to essentially give birth when they're 3 or 4 months along, and I only had to have a D&C. My heart breaks for them, but my heart is broken too. I know I was only 7 weeks, but I'm tired of people not taking me seriously just because I was only 7 weeks. You know what I'm saying? It's been really hard. I am very sad. I mean, I know I technically did not have this connection with this baby yet. It didn't have a brain or a heart yet, but I was excited, and there was a little bit of a connection there. I know that it wasn't a baby per se, but I was still excited about this thing that was inside me that was going to be my baby. And you know, I had so many hopes and dreams and everything, but I don't know, I feel like I could talk about this forever, and I've said my main points, so I should probably think about ending this. If anybody has any questions, feel free to message me. If anybody is going through this and needs support, feel free to message me. I'm sure there are things that I forgot to mention, and I'll be happy to answer any questions or comments or anything. So feel free to contact me should you want to. Whether you're going through this or not, maybe people are stumbling upon this video who don't know what this is like and they're curious. I'm fine to answer those questions too. Just, I hope this enlightens somebody. I understand that there are other miscarriage videos on YouTube, but I felt like telling my story too and getting it out there. So thank you for watching. I hope I maybe have helped somebody or can help somebody if you contact me. Just keep an open mind that everything happens for a reason. I truly believe that, and everything will be okay. It's just really tough at first. But I thank you for watching, and take care.